You know, I pride myself on being very honest and very straightforward in my thoughts and, just tell people like it is, really. And, what I have to say about this, I am only talking about Kämpfer. For, and I really want to make this clear. I'm only talking about this because I have nothing else to talk about. I read this a while ago. I don't think it's really worth reading. It's just something to talk about. I'd give it like a 5. It didn't offend me or anything. It's it's just there. I wouldn't mind if you subscribe just for my mental state. I'd appreciate that. But yeah, so what's the gist, I guess, might as well talk about it while we're here. So the main aspect of the series, I guess, is it's like a gender swap action comedy romance ecchi, kind of series. The main thing is the gender swap. That's what most people probably know it for. So like the main character is a guy and he can like kind of like he turns into a Kämpfer, which is like a fighter. I think it's actually literally translated as fighter in German, but he turns into this Kämpfer. He's a blue Kämpfer or whatever, I think, and he has to go out and like fight other Kämpfers. And he was just randomly chosen, but all Kämpfers have to be girls, so he's turned into a girl. It doesn't really get much more in depth from there. Basically, he has his like partner over here who's like this she's originally a girl, but like her personality changes whenever she goes into her Kämpfer form or whatever. And then of course he's just the same basically, it's just he's a girl. And it's basically just horny bait, the vast majority of the series is basically just like as close as you could get to like hentai without being hentai. I will say, I don't remember the anime too well. I do remember it being a topic a while, like a long time ago, like early YouTube. It was one of those things where people would be like, "Did you ever watch Kämpfer?" I don't really remember it too well, but I think that the endings are a little different. I don't know if it even ended, the anime, but I don't really care if I spoil you. If you care, then you can skip ahead, but it's basically like an alien story at the end where there's like this giant war between different races, and then like they go on these planets and toy with people and make them into these Kämpfers to fight to the death in place of them having to fight, and it's just like, okay. Whatever, man, whatever. I really don't think the story's relevant. I think it's just there to be there, really, just to say that there is a story. I don't think anyone cares about the story of Kämpfer, and if you do, I don't know what's wrong with you. But yeah, like the gist is just basically like different people, transforming into Kämpfers, and then they have to fight and blah blah blah. As far as like conflict goes, I mean, the main character has like this one girl that he really likes, but she ends up liking his female version. Turns out, she has a lot of involvement with the aliens. She's basically like possessed, kind of. It's super convoluted. It's just her. I don't know. It is extremely convoluted. I think that the anime does this. I think the anime is a little different. Like, I think she's like a moderator or something that really likes his female form, and she knows about it and everything. Whereas, like, in the manga, it's kind of like she doesn't. I don't think she's as aware. She's not like as cognizant, I feel, of what's going on. There's also like this like aspect of like there's these little like toy or like stuffed animals that are kind of like, I don't know. They're like the like, I don't know, like the cube like messed up little creatures that give them their abilities and like, you know, follow them around, and they're like their little mascots or whatever. And she's like the one that's like distributing them, but it turns out she's like possessed, basically. Very convoluted. I don't know. Super weird. Doesn't make any sense, and I really don't care. It's kind of like the last, like, I don't know. I think the whole story is like maybe 50 chapters. Like 50 something chapters, I think. Like, it's not really that long, but it's like most of the whole like alien, you know, diving into all that stuff is like at the end. And literally it just like they randomly go through like a tunnel system under this person's house. And they're like, oh yeah, she's been doing all these experiments and looking at all this stuff, and you know, there's like this rock or whatever, if I remember correctly, that like is where the is like how the alien came into like, you know, our solar system, and it's like, what the hell? Before that, it's literally just, you know, main character turns into a girl and has to do funny things. But then it just goes into like, the alien overlords are just toying with us worthless life forms. And I'm just like, what? What? Where did this come from? I don't know. It's a just when you really like look at the plot, it's literally like normally a series is like a line. This one's like this, just to get to the end, and you're just like, oh, we made it. It's like, it's one of the most illogical storylines I've ever seen, and I don't even really know why it's there. It could have just been like magical girls, except they're, you know, the main guy's a girl, like turns into a girl or whatever, like, and it would have been, no, I wouldn't have cared anymore. But for some reason they're just like, you have magic and the other person has guns. And it's like, what is going on? What is this meant to be? I don't understand. I just don't get it. I don't know. Whatever. I really don't have a lot to say other than just this series is weird. That's I needed something to talk about, and I remembered that I read it. So yeah, I guess we'll do the SAE. You know, story, art, enjoyment wise, like story, it's so forgettable and weird. I mean, I think it does. It's relatively like tight though. Like, I feel like there's not like a ton of like plot holes that I can think of. It's pretty. It's somewhat streamlined. It's weird and crazy, but within its weird and crazy bounds, I feel like it's actually not terrible. I'd probably. I'm gonna feel so weird. I'm gonna give it a 5. It was terrible. Art-wise, I'm gonna give it an 8. Oh my god, I don't know. It's like, it's actually really good art. I can't. I don't. You know, the funniest thing is most of like the Horny Bait series actually have really good art. Oh my god, I don't know, man. Enjoyment, like, I don't know, like a. It's forgettable. Like, I can't really give it a super high rating. Like, it's one of those things you forget 5 minutes after you've read it because it's just nothing. I guess a 5. It was okay. I didn't hate it. You know, it wasn't like the worst thing I've read or anything. All right. So yeah, 6, I guess. Even that feels high, but whatever. I mean, like, the story is, like, surprisingly not the worst thing in the world. The art, I mean, it's not that surprising that it's decent, because, like, any of these, like, ecchi kind of series, I feel like they tend to have actually, like, they have, like, pretty good art. You know, because that's probably where the the focus is. Enjoyment-wise, I mean, yeah, 5, it's just whatever. And then, yeah, total about a 6. It's not the worst thing in the world, it's just weird, and I don't really know, I don't think you'd have to, there's no reason to go out of your way. It is not worth going out of your way, but, you know, it's fun, I guess, at times, and I mean, I don't know, maybe, like, you have some weird fetish that you can get off to here. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's about it. I appreciate it if you could like, comment, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Leave another story you want me to read down below. Even if I've read it, I'll read it again. Whatever. And, yeah. I'll see ya.